Be me? Jessica. Censure. Lawyer. Dad Michael is my absolute hero. Always has been. Growing up, he was this force of nature, cracking jokes at every family dinner, coaching my soccer team, never missed a single recital or graduation, the kind of guy who'd wake up at 5:00 a.m. to make elaborate breakfasts before work, whistling while he scrambled eggs. Mom died when I was 19. He raised me and my brother Derek through college, basically on his own. Always had this saying, "You kids are my sunshine. You keep me going." Fast forward to now, I'm doing well, arguing cases, making partner track, have always believed pretty strongly that society is structured to benefit men at women's expense. Not loud about it. Not posting manifestos or anything. Just how I see the world, based on my experiences. Like every performance review I get is about being too aggressive, while male colleagues doing the exact same thing are assertive leaders. Clients assume I'm the paralegal when I walk into rooms. Had a judge literally ask me to fetch him coffee once. So yeah, I've developed some strong opinions about who has it easier in this world. Anyway, Dad's 64. Still working as an electrician. Still that same energetic guy. Or so I thought. March 2023. I notice he's not responding to my texts as quickly. Usually he sends me those cringy good morning gifts every single day without fail. Suddenly nothing. Call him. He says he's just tired from work. Voice sounds flat. Not like him. Visit him that weekend. His house is a mess. Dad was always meticulous. Military corners on the bed. Dishes done immediately after meals. Now there's takeout containers on the counter. Mail piled up. Dishes in the sink. Dad. You okay? Yeah. Sweetie. Just been busy. But his eyes don't meet mine. Over the next few weeks, he stops answering calls altogether. Texts back. One-word responses. Derek says he's noticed it. 2. Dad missed his grandson's birthday party. Dad never misses anything with his grandkids. Like, that's literally unthinkable. I drive over unannounced in April. He answers the door in the same clothes I saw him in last week. Hasn't shaved, which for Dad is absolutely bizarre. This man used to shave every single morning like clockwork. Said it made him feel human. Dead. What's going on? Talk to me. Nothing. Jessica, I'm fine. Just getting old. He's 64, not 94. Push past him into the house. It's worse than before. Curtains all drawn. Dark as a cave in the middle of the day. The TV is on, but he's clearly not watching it. Fridge has basically nothing in it, except beer and old condiments. When's the last time you ate a real meal? He shrugs. Actually shrugs. This man who used to cook elaborate Sunday dinners and insist we all sit down together. I start cleaning up. He doesn't protest. Just sits in his chair, staring at nothing. Try to talk to him about work. Hobbies. Anything. One-word answers. Totally checked out. Ask if he's been feeling okay mentally. I said, I'm fine. Jessica, stop fussing. But his voice has zero energy in it. It's like talking to a recording of my dad. Not the actual person. Leave that night feeling deeply unsettled. Text Derek that something is seriously wrong. We compare notes. Dad canceled his weekly poker game with his friends. Hasn't been to the gym. He went religiously for 30 years. Stopped doing the crossword puzzle he loved. May comes. It gets worse. Dad calls in sick to work multiple days. His supervisor calls me. I'm listed as emergency contact. Says Michael hasn't been himself. Seems out of it. I take a day off and go to his house again. He's still in bay at 11:00 M. Room smells stale, like he hasn't opened a window in weeks. Dead. I'm worried. Please talk to me. Please. He just rolls over. Faces the wall. There's nothing to talk about. Sweetheart, I'm just tired. Tired of what? Everything. That word hangs in the air. And my stomach drops. Spend the whole day there. He barely moves. Doesn't eat. When I bring him food, he takes 2 bites and pushes it away. This man who used to eat 3 full meals plus snacks, who used to say, "Food is fuel. Kiddo, can't run on empty." Now he can't even finish half a sandwich. I'm scared, in a way I've never been scared before. This isn't my dad. This is a shell. Force him to come to the doctor. He resists, says there's no point. Doctors can't fix anything. Literally have to use my lawyer voice. Threatened to call Derek and stage an intervention. He agrees, just to get me to stop. Doctor's appointment is brutal. Dad sits there, barely responding to questions. I end up answering most of them. Doctor asks him about his mood. Sleep. Appetite. Energy levels. Dad just says, "Everything's fine," in this dead monotone. I interrupt. Tell the doctor everything I've observed. Dad gets referred to a psychiatrist. Diagnosis comes back. Major depressive disorder. Moderate to severe. Doctor explains. It's a real medical condition. Chemical imbalance. Very treatable. But needs intervention. Starts him on medication. Refers him to therapy. Dad takes the prescription. But I can tell he doesn't believe it'll help. It's just pills. Jessica, pills don't fix anything real. Dad, this is real. Depression is real. The doctor said. I know what the doctor said. I was there. But there's no fight in his voice. No resistance. Just emptiness. June. July. August. Blur together. The medication takes weeks to start working. Doctor said that's normal. Meanwhile, I'm watching my father disappear. He goes through the motions. Takes the pills. Goes to therapy, but when I visit, he's still just absent. Sits in his chair for hours. Doesn't watch TV. Doesn't read. Just sits. Sometimes, when I talk to him, he doesn't even respond. Like, he literally didn't hear me. Other times, he responds. But it's clear he wasn't listening. The light in his eyes is just gone. You know that thing where someone smiles, but it doesn't reach their eyes? Dad doesn't even try to smile anymore. Derek and I take turns visiting, bringing groceries, cleaning. Dad doesn't thank us. Doesn't protest. Doesn't anything. Just accepts it passively like he's accepted everything else. One night in August, I break down crying in my apartment. My dad, mi hero, the strongest person I've ever known, is fading away, and there's nothing I can do. Can't argue this away. Can't logic him out of it. Can't love him hard enough to fix it. All my competence in education and professional skills are useless. September. Dad stops going to work entirely. Takes short-term disability. His boss is understanding, but I can hear the concern in his voice when he calls to check in. Michael's been with us 25 years. Never seen him like this. Is there anything we can do? There isn't. Dad's therapist says it's a process. Healing isn't linear. Some people respond faster than others. Asks if there's been any major life stressors. Well, Mom's been gone 13 years. So probably not that. Then I remember Dad had mentioned something about his brother dying last year. Uncle Tom. They were really close. Dad went to the funeral. Came back quiet. But he seemed okay. Or maybe I just didn't notice because I was busy with a huge case. Guilt hits me like a truck. Was I so wrapped up in my own career and problems that I missed the signs? How long had Dad been struggling before March? October. Tiny improvements. Medication has been adjusted twice now. Dad starts actually responding to questions with full sentences. Even made himself breakfast one morning when I came by. Just toast and eggs. But it's the first time in months. Feel this surge of hope. Maybe he's turning a corner. But then November comes, and he backslides. Therapist says this is normal. Recovery isn't a straight line. But watching him slip back into that dark place after seeing glimpses of the real him is devastating. It's like getting a preview of getting him back and then having him snatched away again. He stops showering regularly again, stops taking the trash out, stops answering his phone. Back to square one. I have to reduce my hours at work. My cases are suffering. Senior partner asks if everything's okay at home. I give some vague answer about family health issues. Can't exactly say my dad is dying slowly from his own brain chemistry and I'm watching it happen. People don't get it unless they've seen it. They think depression is just being sad. Think you can snap out of it. Think positive. Go for a jog. But this isn't sadness. This is watching someone's entire will to exist evaporate. Dad told his therapist, who told me with his permission that he feels like he's moving through concrete, that every single action, even getting out of bed, feels like pushing a boulder uphill, that nothing brings him pleasure anymore. Not food, not TV, not his grandkids, not anything. That's when it really hits me. This man, who lived for his family, who said we were his sunshine, now can't feel anything when his grandson hugs him, can't feel joy at his granddaughter's school play, can't feel anything at all. December. We try a new medication combo, 3rd time's the charm. The psychiatrist says, with forced optimism, Dad just nods. Christmas is the most depressing day of my life. Derek and I bring the kids over. Try to make it festive. Decorate Dad's house. Cook dinner. Bring gifts. Dad sits there in his recliner. Opens presents without really looking at them. Thanks us in that flat voice. My niece, who's 6, asks, "Why is Grandpa so quiet?" Derek makes up something about Grandpa being tired. But I see the confusion and hurt on her face. Kids know when adults are lying. After they leave, I sit with Dad in the quiet house. Lights from the tree blinking. Carols playing softly from my phone. Dad, please talk to me. Really talk to me. Long silence. I don't know what's wrong with me. Yes, I can't find a reason to care about anything anymore. The medication will help. The therapy will help. You just have to hang on. What if I don't want to hang on? My blood turns to ice. Don't say that. Don't you dare say that. I'm not saying I'm going to do anything. I'm so tired. I've been tired for so long. I know. Dad, I know. But we need you. Derek needs you. The kids need you. I need you. You'd all be fine. We really wouldn't. Sit there holding his hand until he falls asleep in the chair. Drive home at 2:00 a.m. Crying so hard, I have to pull over. January 2024. Almost a year since this started. New medication combo seems to be helping. Dad starts going on short walks around the neighborhood. Therapist recommended it for the exercise and routine. He doesn't want to, but he does it anyway. That's progress. The therapist says, taking action even when you don't want to. I start meeting him for these walks when I can. At first, we walk in silence. Then one day, he comments on a neighbor's garden. It's the first time in months he's noticed anything in the outside world. Want to cry from relief. But keep it together. February. More small improvements. Dad starts going to the senior center for lunch a few times a week. Not because he wants to socialize. He says, but because the therapist won't stop bugging him about it. But he's going. That's what matters. I meet some of his friends there. Menhiseye. They tell me quietly they've been worried. Haven't seen Michael in months. One guy, Frank, pulls me aside. I went through something similar after my wife passed. Took 2 years to feel human again. Tell Michael to hang in there. 2 years. We're at almost 1 year, and I'm already exhausted. Can't imagine another year of this. But we don't have a choice. March 2024. Exactly 1 year since I first noticed something was wrong. Dad has his weekly therapy appointment. I drive him because he still doesn't trust himself behind the wheel when he's having bad days. Wait in the waiting room like I have dozens of times. When he comes out, his therapist asks to talk to both of us. We sit down in her office. Michael's made remarkable progress. He's not out of the woods yet. But he's responding well to treatment. I'm proud of the work he's doing. Dad just nods. But I see the tiniest flicker of something in his eyes. Not quite pride. But acknowledgement maybe? Therapist continues. We've been discussing what triggered this episode. Michael. What do you want to share with Jessica what we talked about? Dad looks uncomfortable. I've apparently been dealing with low-grade depression most of my adult life. After your mom died. After Tom died. It all just accumulated, and I never dealt with any of it because I thought I had to be strong for you kids. My throat tights. I'm 64 years old, and I'm just now learning it's okay to not be okay. Feels pretty stupid. It's not stupid. Dad? Feels stupid. Spent my whole life thinking I just had to push through. Be the rock. Never complain. Thought that's what men do. And look where it got me. Sitting in my car afterward. Something shifts in my brain. Been so focused on gender dynamics in professional settings, in dating, in public life. Never really thought about the flip side. About men like my dad who literally almost died because they felt they couldn't express pain. Who internalized be strong so deeply it became toxic. Who suffered in silence until their brain chemistry completely broke down. Think about all the times Dad must have been struggling over the years and never said anything. After Mom died, he threw himself into taking care of us. Never grieved properly. After Tom died, he went to the funeral and came back and went straight back to work. Never took time, never asked for help, never admitted he was drowning. And society told him that was noble. That was being a good man. A good father. Suffer silently. Provide. Be the rock until the rock crumbles to dust. April. Dad starts going back to work part-time. Just a few hours a week. Easy jobs. His boss is accommodating, which I'm grateful for. Dad comes home exhausted. But there's something different. He's tired from activity. Not from existing. There's a difference. Can see it in his face. We're sitting on his porch. First warm day of spring. He's drinking coffee. Actually tasting it for the first time in a year. Mentioned it tastes good, which seems small. But it's huge. Means he's experiencing pleasure again. Means the anhedonia is lifting. Yes. I want to say thank you for not giving up on me. I know this past year has been hell. Dad, you don't have to thank me. Idu, there were days I wished you'd all just leave me alone to fade away. But you didn't. You kept showing up. We sit in silence for a while. I didn't understand how bad it was. I say finally. I knew depression was real intellectually, but I didn't understand that it could do this to someone, that it could steal everything that makes a person themselves. It's a hell of a thing. He says quietly, all those years. Dad, you never said you were struggling. Not once. Wasn't supposed to. Men don't fall apart. We keep it together. That almost killed you. I know. Therapist has mentioned that about 100 times. Another silence. I think I've been wrong about some things. I admit not about everything. Women face real barriers. I live it every day at work. But I think I dismissed how much men suffer too in different ways. Ways I couldn't see because I wasn't looking. Dad looks at me with more clarity than I've seen in a year. We all suffer. Kiddo, different packages. Same pain. Your struggles at work are real. My struggles with my brain are real. It's not a competition. I know. I think I forgot that somewhere along the way, June 2024. Dad's smile reaches his eyes for the first time. We're at Derek's house for a barbecue. Dad is playing catch with his grandson. Laughing when the kid throws the ball way over his head. Actually laughing. Derek and I make eye contact across the yard. Both have tears in our eyes. We got him back. Not entirely. Maybe not ever entirely. But enough. The light is back. Flickering maybe. But present. Later. Helping clean up. Derek says, I was so scared we were going to lose him. Me too. He seems better though. Really better. Yeah. It's been a long year. Longest of my life. Think about everything I've witnessed. My strong, capable, loving father, reduced to a shell, not by weakness, not by choice, by a medical condition that nobody takes seriously enough, by a lifetime of suppressing pain because that's what men are taught to do, by isolation and silence and the weight of expectations. Sitting at my desk the next week, male colleague makes some comment about having it easy. Different context, professional thing, but I find myself stopping, thinking about Dad in that dark room, unable to get out of bed. Thinking about the statistics the therapist mentioned, men die by suicide at 5 times the rate of women. Thinking about how many men like Dad are out there suffering silently right now. You okay? Colleague asks. Yeah. Just thinking about something. Not going to get into it here. Not appropriate, but something has fundamentally shifted in how I see the world. Can hold 2 truths at once now. Women face systemic barriers, discrimination, harassment, and violence, and men face crushing expectations, emotional suppression, and suffer in ways society ignores. These aren't contradictory. They're both real, both devastating, both need to be addressed. Meet my friend Rachel for drinks. She's complaining about men having it easy. She's not wrong in her specific context. Dating apps are a nightmare, but I find myself saying, I don't know if anyone has it easy. Really, she looks at me like I've grown a second head. Since when do you defend men? I'm not defending anyone. My dad's been really sick. It's made me think about things differently. Don't elaborate. She wouldn't get it unless she'd seen what I've seen. July. Dad tells me he's thinking about going to a men's support group. His therapist recommended it. Group specifically for men dealing with depression and mental health. That sounds great. Dad. Feel weird about it. Bunch of guys sitting around talking about feelings. Weird good or weird bad. Don't know yet. But I'm going to try it. Therapist says isolation is what got me here in the first place. He goes. Afterward, he calls me. How was it? Strange. Good. Strange? Everyone there gets it. No explaining. No pretending. Just real talk. I hear something in his voice I haven't heard in years. Relief, maybe, or recognition that he's not alone. August 2024. Dad and I are walking our regular thing now, couple times a week. You know what the worst part was? He asked suddenly, what? Feeling like I couldn't tell anyone. Like I had to just push through it because that's what I've always done. Even when I couldn't push anymore. Even when I had nothing left. I still felt like I wasn't allowed to say it. Why? Because men don't break down. We're supposed to be the strong ones. The providers. The rocks. If we crack, everything falls apart. But you're human. Dad, everyone has limits. I know that now. Took almost dying to figure it out. Though, we walk in silence for a while. I'm sorry. I say finally. For what? For not seeing it sooner. For being so wrapped up in my own worldview that I couldn't see what you were going through. For maybe making you feel like your problems didn't matter. Because Jess... Stop. This wasn't your fault. I hid it from everyone. That's on me. But the hiding Dad, you hid it because you thought you had to because of what society tells men about strength and weakness. Maybe. Probably. But I'm learning different now. September. I'm in a meeting at work. Senior partner is talking about mentorship. Diversity. Inclusion initiative. Asks for input. Find myself saying, I think we should also consider mental health support, especially for our male associates who might be struggling but feel they can't speak up. Everyone looks at me. Senior partner nods slowly. That's a good point. Jessica, we tend to focus on other diversity issues. But mental health is just as important. Let's add that to the agenda. Small thing. Maybe. But it matters. October 2024. Almost 2 years since this nightmare started. Dad is doing really well. Back to work. Work full-time. Hosting family dinners again. His Sunday roasts are back, and they're delicious. Joking around with his grandkids. planning a fishing trip with his brothers. Sees his therapist monthly now instead of weekly, still takes medication. Will probably need to long-term, but he's present, he's alive, he's himself. We're sitting at his kitchen table after dinner. Can I tell you something? I ask. Of course, watching you go through this changed me, changed how I see a lot of things. Yeah. I spent a lot of time thinking men had it easier. In a lot of ways, they do. Professionally, socially, there are real advantages, but I didn't see the other side. The pressure, the isolation, the suffering that men go through because they're taught they can't ask for help. Dad listens quietly. I'm not saying women don't have it hard. We do, but I don't think it's a competition anymore in my mind. I think we're all just struggling in different ways, and the struggling is what matters, not who has it worse. That's pretty wise. Kiddo, I almost lost you because the world told you to be strong and silent. That's not okay. That's never going to be okay with me again. Dad reaches across the table and squeezes my hand. I'm still here. We made it through. Yeah, we did. November? I'm having coffee with a new associate at work. Young guy. Maybe 26. Looks exhausted. You okay? I ask. He hesitates. Yeah. Just busy. A lot of cases, but I recognize that look now, the trying to hold it together look, the I'm not allowed to struggle look. If you ever need to talk or need resources, my door's open. No judgment. Mental health is important. He looks surprised. Thanks. I appreciate that. Don't know if he'll take me up on it. But at least he knows the option is there. At least someone said it out loud. December 2024. Christmas is completely different from last year. Dad is in the kitchen cooking up a storm, laughing with Derek, playing with the grandkids, fully present. After dinner, my niece climbs into his lap. Grandpa, you seem happy again. Dad's eyes get misty. I am. Sweetheart, I really am. Catch his eye across the room. He smiles. I smile back. Later? Helping him clean up. Hell of a 2 years. He says, understatement of the century, thank you for seeing me through it. For not giving up? Never. Dad, never. I mean it. A lot of men don't make it through what I went through, don't have people who fight for them. No? He's right. Think about all the men who suffer alone, who don't have a Jessica or a Derek, who don't get the help they need, who don't make it. We need to do better as a society. I say for everyone. Women. Men. Everyone who's struggling. Yeah. We do. New Year's Eve. I'm reflecting on these 2 years. The pain. The fear. The slow recovery. How much it changed me. Used to see the world in pretty binary terms. Now I see complexity. See suffering everywhere in everyone. See how we all carry burdens that others can't see. My dad almost died from a broken brain, and society's expectations, that's real. My struggles as a woman in a male-dominated field are real. Both can be true. Both matter. Everyone deserves to be seen, heard, supported. Dad calls at midnight. Happy New Year. Yes, Happy New Year. Dad, love you. Love you. To kiddo, here's to a better year. Here's to being here to see it. Amen to that. Hang up and sit in the quiet. Think about everything I learned. Men aren't living easy. Lives free from suffering. They're suffering in ways I never fully understood. And that suffering is just as real, just as devastating, just as worthy of acknowledgement as any other. Doesn't erase women's struggles. Doesn't diminish them. Just adds to the full picture of human pain. And maybe that's the point. Maybe we all suffer. Maybe we all struggle. And maybe the answer isn't figuring out who has it worse, but figuring out how to help each other through it, whatever our gender, whatever our circumstances. We're all just humans, trying to survive our own minds and the world's expectations. And that's enough. That has to be enough. Dad's alive. That's what matters. He's here. He's healing. He's fighting. And I see him now. Really see him. See all of it. The strength and the vulnerability. The joy and the devastating pain. The full reality of what it means to be human, regardless of gender. Just human. Beautifully. Terribly human. And suffering and surviving. And that's the whole story.